Alright, Broncos country, I think it's time to take a chill pill on Riley Moss. You guys should know by now in this channel that we keep it a buck at all times. If there's a player who deserves criticism, we're going to criticize him. But if there's a player who's getting unjust criticism and is getting drugged through the mud unnecessarily, we're going to be quick to defend that player. And that's the case with Riley Moss. I've made multiple videos on this channel this season talking about how Riley Moss has been nowhere near as bad as fans and media are painting him out to be. A lot of people are saying that Riley Moss needs to be benched, and I've been saying, I don't know about that. Riley's been good. He hasn't been elite, but he's been really, really good. And I think cornerback play is kind of judged unfairly by fans and some media as well, especially if you're just watching the TV copy and not watching the All-22 coaches film. On the TV copy, the only time you see corners is when they're getting targeted, so you're only seeing their best plays or their worst plays. When you look at the film, you're seeing everything in between when they're not getting targeted. Are they allowing guys to get open? Are they staying stride for stride with the receiver, especially with the amount of man coverage that Denver plays? And I will say, Denver actually mixed it up last night. They played a lot more zone than I've seen them play, arguably since 2023, and they did a good job of being disciplined with those zones, and Riley Moss was very much a part of that. But make no mistake, Denver is still, at its core, a man coverage team, and you're going to have to hold up in man coverage if you're a corner. And last night against the Cincinnati Bengals, Riley Moss did a really good job dealing with both Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. It started off a little rough, but it was another play where it was just a perfect throw and catch, a beautifully timed back shoulder fade at the beginning of the game between Jake Browning and T. Higgins. Riley was in good position there. Troy Aikman said it on the broadcast. There was pretty much nothing he could do on that play. He was in position, but a perfect throw and a perfect catch just cannot be defended sometimes. Then, a little bit later in the game, he did have a DPI called on him. That play was a little bit ticky-tack in my opinion. Yes, Riley was grabbing a little jersey, he had a little tug. By law of the land, that's a foul, but I've seen that more often than not be a no call in this league as opposed to a call. We talked about last night in a previous video, the Broncos had a rookie referee officiating this game. It was just his fourth game, and I thought there were some ticky-tack calls on both sides, and I'd say that DPI on Riley Moss would fall into that category. But outside of that, he allowed 2 catches for 25 yards, one of them being that back shoulder fade. He allowed one other catch as well, but Riley was in position all night long, stride for stride with receivers, and the other times he was targeted, the other 5 times he was targeted, he held up really, really well. He was stride for stride. Jake Browning overthrew players a couple of times, but Riley Moss did a great job of staying with them. He wasn't giving up any big plays out there. He wasn't getting beat by multiple steps, and there's only a couple of times this season that I can point to Riley Moss getting beat by multiple steps, and you can really say it was a bad rep by him. There's a couple of other plays, that Chargers game where he had a DPI. That one, I will admit, he got out of position and had to get grabby. That's going to happen sometimes. Every single corner in this game is going to get beat, even the best of the best. Pat Surtain will get beat sometimes. Riley Moss will get beat sometimes. And when you're targeted 7 to even 10 times a game, you're probably going to get beat in at least 2 or 3 of those reps. But if you're able to recover and be solid in the rest of those reps, then I think overall you can say that you have a good day. And then, again, you've got to watch the film and see what's happening when they're not getting targeted. And Riley Moss, stride for stride, in the hip pockets of receivers, not egregiously blowing zones whenever the Broncos were in zone coverage. Riley did a fantastic job in this game. Sean Payton said those exact words when asked about Riley's performance. This was the bounce-back game that he needed. This was the bounce-back game that this Denver Broncos team overall needed. We're going to be talking about how offensively, I think the Broncos have finally found their identity, but one of the biggest causes for concern was Riley Moss, at least in the eyes of some in the fans and media, and I just didn't think it was that big of a concern, and he kind of proved that to be correct in this game. Fans will point to that PI, fans will point to that back shoulder catch, but those weren't egregiously bad plays by Riley Moss. The DPI, wishy-washy call, and then the back shoulder fade, that was just a perfectly timed throw and catch, which is, again, almost impossible to defend. So, with Riley Moss, next week, he's going to be going up against Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown and company in Philadelphia. That's going to be a tough matchup, and they're going to be having a quarterback throwing them the ball that can actually get the ball on target. Jake Browning was super inaccurate in this game, so don't get me wrong, it's going to be a tougher challenge in this next game for Riley Moss, but this game against a receiver in T. Higgins who gave him a lot of trouble last season, I believe this was the bounce back that Riley Moss needed. It built his confidence. You could see he was pumped up after the game. I'm super pumped for Riley Moss, man. All right, Broncos country, let me know in the comment section below. How do you guys feel about Riley Moss? Do you feel like he bounced back well in this game against Cincinnati, or do you still have some concerns about him long term as the starting cornerback for the Denver Broncos alongside Pat Surtain? Drop those comments down below, guys. I would love to hear your thoughts as always. Be sure to leave a like on this video as well as subscribe and ring the bell so these videos appear in your notification feed. I would really appreciate it, guys. Those are both free and easy ways to show your support. Helps tell YouTube's algorithm to push us out, and it helps us get seen by more and more members of Broncos country just like you and me. Additionally, if you guys want to go above and beyond in supporting the channel, please consider becoming a channel member today. I would really appreciate it. It's not mandatory whatsoever, but if you guys want some extra perks and incentives in exchange for helping me out and helping the channel grow, you can do so by clicking the link in the description below. And before we get out of here, guys, I want to tell you about the affiliate partner for today's video, Green Gridiron Helmets. Use code DENSYN, DENSYN, link in the description below, to save off your first purchase on authentic NFL helmets. From small replicas like this one behind me to full-size authentic helmets, they've got it all. Again, that is code DENSYN, DENSYN, link in the description below, to save off your first purchase from Green Gridiron Helmets. Thank you so much to them. And until next time, guys, I'm your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.